Okay, welcome everyone to our June 6th, 2023 meeting. This is a hybrid meeting, so it's carried on video as well as in person. Time is 9:30. I'm going to call the meeting to order, and I'm going to start off with a land acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that the Township of Havelock-Belmont-Methuen is located on the Treaty 20 Mississauga territory of the Mississauga and Chippewa Nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaties First Nations, which includes Curve Lake, Hiawatha, Alderville, Scugog Island, Brahma, Beausoleil, and Georgina Island First Nations. The Township of Havelock-Belmont-Methuen respectfully acknowledges that the Williams Treaties First Nations are the stewards and caretakers of the lands and waters into perpetuity, and that we continue to maintain this responsibility to ensure their health and integrity for generations to come. I'm going to ask everyone to please turn off your cell phones or put them on vibrate so it doesn't disturb the meeting. And I'm going to remind council of declaration of pecuniary interest. If it arises, declare it now, or if something pops up later in the meeting, declare it then. We have minutes from the regular council meeting of April 18th and a special council meeting April 20th for budget deliberation. If all's in order, I'll look for a motion.
No, okay, I just have a question. In the special, or it's in the April 20th minutes. So it would be page 18. It says that the staff is hereby directed to defer the 6-line resurfacing project to 24. And it says they allotted 150 for the 6-line resurfacing to be moved to the 3rd line reconstruction project. As I recall, what we did is we moved that to reserve to be added to next year's budget to do the 6th line. Not the, as I recall, now maybe I goes off here, but
so does it not go on to say that in this sentence after the allotted funds, 3rd line be transferred into admin easier?
what page are we on?
18.
But it's not going into the 3rd line reserve, it's going into the 6th line reserve.
Or roads, public works.
It just seemed to be a little tad confusing from what I recall of the discussion, that's all.
That open final, are you seeing that there at all in
Future, I do, without my laptop in front of me, I do tend to agree with Councillor. I don't recall any specific other project.
so that could be amended to go into the road reserve for next year?
Yeah, okay,
Okay, so it's amended to road reserve, not administrative reserve.
not the 3rd line. The 3rd line is already budgeted for.
Okay.
That's either previous year or this year, so it has something to do with this, I think.
Okay, so a motion to adopt the minutes as amended. Moved by Councilor Clement, seconder. Sitting on the web, all in favor, and that's carried. All right, then. So our next item on the agenda is delegations and presentations. So I will ask everyone to please try and keep to your 10 minutes. We're going to start off here with Peter Gingrich, Senior Account Executive, and this is with regard to the upgrade to our website. Welcome, Peter.
Good morning. Thank you for having us, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you for coming. So I'll turn it over to you as far as what you have for us.
Okay, thank you very much. So we'll be a pretty quick agenda today. I'm going to run through just a few slides, a little bit of background on the project, and then I will turn things over to my colleague, Daniel Shaw. He's going to give a very brief demo of the website content management system that we are proposing. Yeah, I'll just get right into it then. We are actually, we already are your host, your website provider. We were contracted under our former name eSolutions Group, so some of you may know us. We've been around for over 20 years as eSolutions. 650 municipal clients across Canada, a lot of them in Ontario alone. probably we're approaching 400. So we have a lot of municipal experience. About a year or two ago, our company was, well, actually about 5 years ago, GHD and our former parent company merged. GHD Digital was formed out of that merger. Daniel and I and about 160 other employees are a member of GHD Digital. Our parent company, large consulting firm, 200 offices, 12,000 employees worldwide. So we're privately owned. We're very financially stable. We do have offices all across Canada, but in Ontario, we're Ottawa, Toronto, Waterloo. We got a great team, a good mix of information architects. We have business analysts, programmers, designers, project management. So very, very capable of delivering the project without any need for subcontractors. You may have seen our work, of course, the current website we built about 7 years ago. We do a lot of work in your area, Peterborough, Haliburton. You can see by the names on the screen there. And as I mentioned before, we have about 350 municipal clients in Ontario. So the current situation, why we're looking to do an upgrade. Your site is about 7 years old. Typically, a website would be redeveloped or refreshed every 4 to 5 years, simply because technology changes. There's new security issues out there. Users have different patterns of how they actually access content on a website. So refresh is good. So your site is due for that. It still functions fine, but we're getting to the point where you should be looking at a refresh. So that is what we're proposing. We have a content management system called GovStack, which Daniel will show you. It's a more modern system. And one of the main benefits of GovStack is that it gives more control to our clients, the users, the people that are actually managing the website. With your current site, if you wanted to do an update on the homepage, for example, or change some of the design, you would have to come back to our company and pay us to do that. With the new system, there's going to be a lot more control. You can do a lot of the design changes yourself with proper training, of course. We'll give that as part of the project. So the key benefit there is that you save money in the long run because you won't have to come back to us for some of the more simple updates to the design and that. So, and then the last point, we will be retiring the current content management system. I don't have a definite date for that yet, but at some point that platform will be deemed as end of life. So the objectives for the project, of course, we want a site that's easy to maintain, easy to navigate and search for your users. All the content that is created under this project would be owned and copyrighted by the township. We want to make sure that you have a website that meets AODA accessibility standards, WCAG standards for usability, accessibility. We have to make sure that it works on mobile devices. So again, this is another reason for the upgrade is the technology changes. There's different devices out there. We have to make sure that your website will display, on a variety of devices, from desktop computers right down to the smallest smartphone. So, the new website will support any social media plugins like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you have social media feeds, it'll support that as well. And then most important of all, of course, is it must be easy for the township staff to manage the content. And Daniel will give you just a brief demonstration of that today. Okay, so GovStack itself is really made up of 3 main components. There's the core of the product is the content management system to the left of my screen there. So this is where most of the content is updated. We have a calendar module as well. That's part of GovStack. You're already using the calendar. For your council meetings is one example where we use that calendar. That will be migrated over to the new system. And we have a form builder tool in there as well, which you're currently utilizing. So during the course of this project, we would migrate all of the content from the existing website over to the new site. And anything that's in Calendar and Form Builder will automatically get ported over as well. So the next part of the presentation would be Daniel showing a little bit of the content management system. But were there any questions before we jump into that?
No, I don't have any questions, just council.
Yeah, you mentioned about the create an easy to use calendar. Can that be for multi-users, the joint basis?
Sorry, I missed that. You cut out at the end there.
Well, the calendar, if you have a calendar, can we dovetail the schedule for the community center in so that we can use it? More than one user can use it. In other words, the Lions can use it, the rink can use it, and then we can oversee it.
Oh,
Is that
Yeah,
so?
definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, carry on.
Okay. So I'm going to turn it over to Daniel now.
All right, thanks. Yeah, thanks, Peter, and thank you, Mayor and Council, for the opportunity to present this morning. Hope everybody's well. So, yeah, as Peter mentioned, we're going to be moving the existing website over to a new content management system called GovStack. And essentially, what a content management system is, it's what allows the staff, your staff and the team there to keep the website updated, keep it fresh, make sure the content's trusted and current and all those great things. It also includes that calendar tool. And yes, you can have the council calendar, rec calendar, kind of whatever kind of calendar you like. It's got a news tool built in to broadcast news out. It's got your form builder tool for all those online forms. But in terms of kind of the solution itself and how it's different than what you have today, you're using a product called iCreate right now, and it's served the township very well, and all our clients, it served them very well, and they like using it. It's very easy to use. However, it is the flip side is it is a little bit limiting in terms of the things you can do, and kind of like in terms of laying out pages, creating with pages, creating nice pages for like events or things like that. I know you've got the food recycler program that's kind of started and happening, with GovStack, and create a really nice little sub page or landing page for those types of initiatives. So GovStack really opens it up for your team to really kind of use the design and layout of the site to communicate information, which is really, really important. We know that, people are visual, right? Especially when you're on the internet. So GovStack is a tool that allows you to kind of take advantage of the visual tools that are available and make something that's really, really nice. So I've got on my screen right now what we call our sandbox environment. It's kind of a fictional city of prestige, but it does allow us to kind of show just how a site could look or the different things you can do. So, for example, right now your team has full control over your existing website with editing content or updating content, we'll say. So that could mean updating this banner. So there's a nice big banner here with a photo of the lakefront. We've got icons. We've got so what these are called calls to action with some kind of key areas like events calendar and have your say. So with your existing content management system iCreate, you could update all of these, like swap out this banner or swap out this events calendar for something else, essentially updating. But if you wanted to make design and layout changes to the page and get a little bit more creative, and again, take advantage of your screen real estate and design to get people that key information, with iCreate, you simply can't do that. With GovStack, that's going to really empower your team to do those types of things. So for example, maybe you want to change this banner to be something else. Maybe you want it to be a photo gallery of the different attractions. Maybe you want it to be a video or something like that. You can do those types of things. You can add different elements into the page. So let's say we've got these, what we call rows of calls to action here. And we know people are very visual. You're probably all very visual when you go to a website, right? You're kind of looking for visual cues. So that's what these would be. You could add another row of those in GovStack, right? So you've got 4, maybe you want to have 8. You could add a whole new row of those. You could add a video to the middle of the page, or a photo gallery, or text, or all these different things. Where right now your current solution, very locked down, which was by design when we originally did the site. One thing we do know is that users are becoming more advanced in terms of your team, right? So the original solution kind of kept things locked down. This new solution is still very, very easy to use. I want to make sure I mention that. There is still a level of control, right, to make sure that everything's looking good. But if the team wants to get more creative, that functioning there as well. So that's a huge bonus and something our clients are really loving. So you can have a really nice homepage like this. You can create something like a nice landing page, right? So maybe you want to have a landing page for Rec and Leisure, right? We'd had mentioned they have a Rec and Leisure calendar. We know Rec and Leisure is a very popular section of website. Maybe you want to have a really nice landing page for that, right? So that's what I've created here, right? So this is it's got a nice image. It's got a big link to download the leisure guide. It's got some information on the Rec and Leisure programs. It's got information on, links out and calls to action out to the key programs, things like that. So again, being able to kind of create those pages visually to communicate that information out. And then obviously once they get into the page, then they're going to be able to get that in for information nice and easy. Another example would be, let's say maybe like a page for the library, something like that, right? So obviously you've got some library pages on your existing site. You could go as far as creating a nice page for each of the branches, right? Okay, well, here's the main branch. What are the programs at the main branch? Computer learning and book club. What are the hours of the new branch? Give us a map to the new to the main branch, I should say. So again, allowing you to kind of create those really nice pages to get people to that information really, really quickly. And then you can also create like a standard kind of what we would call a content page, right? So the reality is everybody's coming to your site to perform a specific task. We can use the design elements to get them there really quickly. But then once they get there, we want to make sure it's really, really easy to read. So with GovStack, you can create nice dynamic pages with that, right? So, this is a sample council page, right? So we can have, a nice big image at the top, but then we get into the content, right? Some information about council, some links out to the council members and the calendar. You can embed videos, right? So council meetings, things like that, you can embed videos. You could create a really nice page for the council members, right? So we've got this, I know you guys have a page now with your photo, and the page looks great in your bios. So you could create those types of things as well in GovStack, but kind of take it to another level from a visual standpoint, right? To really present that information really, really nicely. So everything I'm showing here, this is something that these pages, etc., these are things your team's going to be able to create. Everything we're looking at here was something that I created using GovStack. And I am not a designer. I'm not a developer. I'm not a coder. I use GovStack just like our clients use GovStack. And I was able to create all these really nice landing pages and content pages and all those types of things. So it really, really opens it up for the team there. So I'm going to take a time out and a pause there. And the next thing I was going to do, I want to be aware of time. I think we had about 25 minutes. So I was going to just quickly log into the back office and show you how easy it is to use. But before I do, any questions on what we just looked at?
Thanks, Kathy. So
Through you, Mayor. How long is the training for our staff to get used to the program or to learn the upgrades?
It's usually typically a day and a half is the training. And then everybody, all our clients get access to, there's a resource center as well. So you can look up, there's specific topics in there. There's videos, tips to help you get through. And then every contract comes with unlimited product support during regular business hours, right? So Monday to Friday, if a member of your staff is trying to update something and they're having difficulty remembering from their training, they can't find an answer, they can email our support team. A ticket will get created automatically, and then someone will assist them through that.
Okay. Jerry, go ahead. On your references, a lot of your references are either county or cities.
Yep.
How many remote or small communities do you have them in, and what has been the feedback from the end user?
Very good. Oh, you mean like in rural areas? Yes. Yeah. And first of all, I just listed some of the local ones, but we work with a lot of small townships, smaller municipalities, and some of them are in remote areas as well. Sioux Lookout comes to mind, for example. It's way up northern Ontario. Internet's not the greatest. We have to make sure that the site loads quickly. So is what you were referring to?
Well, and easy to maneuver. Not all of us are Bill Gates, so it's and we wrestle with that problem of trying to get information out. And
Yeah.
if it's user friendly, easy to use, which they all are, if you're on this side, but not if you're on the other side looking for information, but. thank you.
Yeah, and I mean, we spend a lot of time with the structure of your website, the sitemap, making sure that things are labeled properly with terms that your users would find if somebody's browsing for information. And then the site can be, we can implement Google search into the site as well. So a lot of people are used to just Googling things. I know that's how I find information. So we give your end users multiple, avenues of finding that information.
Thank you. So the 7 years is long overdue here. I know
Yeah.
the county just updated theirs last year, I think it was, and
Yeah.
I think it's something that should be done probably every term. I think we should be looking at updating it a little bit. It probably wouldn't be such a drastic change if we were doing it more regularly, I would think.
Yes, and that actually brings up a really good point too. If you go forward with the GovStack solution, it's much easier to refresh the homepage, right? So you could be, even next year, you could maybe make some changes to the homepage and do a little bit of a refresh. If you're getting feedback from your residents, well, I can't find this, and you're getting those repeated requests for a specific piece of information. Maybe you make it one of those icons that Daniel has on the screen there, right? So things like that, very easy for the township staff to do themselves without having to come back to us and incur additional costs. So.
Thank you. Okay, is there any other questions? All right, so carry on.
Okay, just want to check on the time. We don't want to go too far. How much longer would you like us to go?
Well, you said you had one more piece left there if you wanted to.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Reader's Digest and.
Yeah, a full demo would be over an hour, so I'm sure you don't want to sit through that. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just, what I wanted to show here was I'm just going to kind of just update one thing. So just kind of show you how easy to use. Everything with GovStack as password. So this is what I'm going into now, is the view that your team would see, the staff there would see, is there's a login screen. I'm going to log in. It's going to take me to the what we would call the back office of GovStack. So there's a nice dashboard which would be letting your team know what people have been working on, what pages they're working on, etc. I go over here to this home page. So over here on the left-hand side, I'm going to make an update to the home page. So this page right here, I'm just going to make an update to the banner. So very simple update. I go over here to home. On this page here, I can see all the different elements that are on the page, right? So hopefully you're able to see this on the screen there. So they're all different components. So we've got a banner, we've got an icon row, we've got a call to action row, etc. I'm going to make an update to the banner. I click the banner button. I click the banner button again, and then essentially there's the image right there. I can just change this here. I can exit out. I just hit X. I hit the plus sign, and it takes me to a nice file folder where I can go find the image I'd like to add. I'll select this one here. There's some images here I'd like to have. So I'm just clicking on things, right? So very, very, very easy to use as far as that goes. And then I go and find the folder I'd like, and then I see all my list of images, and then I just pick the image I'd like to add to the site. It's very, very visual on the back end as well. So I can kind of just pick which one. I can pick this one with some nice trails. I can hit select, and then I can go and I can actually edit the image right here, right? I can actually change how the image is going to show on the page. I can adjust the focal point. Right now, the focal point's in the middle of the image. I can say, well, I want these people to show more. So I just drag this little button down here. I'm going through this quickly. Obviously, there'd be training for all this. I'll hit save and close. And then maybe just the other thing I'll do is I'll change it, since obviously we're on a call here. With your team, let's go to HBM. We'll change that for what the text on the banner. I'll hit submit, and then save and preview. And now it's going to upload an updated version of the page, right? So I didn't need to put my fingers on the keyboard once other than to type in HBM. So it's all just kind of point and click and upload and adjust and things like that. And we've got a nice kind of almost like just that image alone kind of changed the look of the website. So really, really easy to use. And then I can actually also preview this in different devices right from this page, right? So I'm in what is called preview mode, meaning it's not live, it's just a preview. I can hit this little fit to browser button, and I can say, show me how this is going to look on a tablet in portrait mode, right? So if I've got my tablet turned on my side, gives me a preview of that before I publish this live. It shows that things are going to stack. I can say, show me how this is going to look on a smartphone in landscape mode, right? So it'll give me a preview of that. So your team there is going to be able to preview how these pages are all going to look before you put them live. Obviously, I'm going to guess a lot of your users are going to be using mobile devices or tablets. So the team there can preview all that, make sure everything looks good. It's all automatic, to be honest, but it's a really nice feature. So I just wanted to show one thing, updating a banner. As I go down the page and all the pages we've looked at, essentially it's the same thing, right? You want to add a new image in this call to action, same thing. You want to add some text, just type in the box, that type of thing. So really, really simple, which is obviously very important to make sure that your content's staying current and staying updated, and all the tools are built in to make sure it's accessible to AODA. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. So that was the last thing I want to show. I mean, like Peter said, I can take your whole morning, your whole meeting if you wanted. I'm not going to do that. So I'll kind of stop there and see what other questions we have.
And well, thank you. And you made it look easy. I think even I could do that. So that's making it really easy. So, but anyway, is there any questions for Peter or Daniel? All right, so I'm looking forward to seeing this start to move forward. Bob, go ahead.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin, I would suggest to council that if you're aware of any websites that you particularly like going to, or any websites you'd like us to use as examples, please pass those along to us, and we will work with those.
Okay. All right, then. Well, thanks, Peter and Daniel, and I'll look for a motion to receive the delegation. Okay, moved by Councillor Clement, seconded by Councillor Doherty. All in favor? And that's carried. All right, then. So our next delegation here is Fred Bagshaw and Whitey Hammersmith with the ATV club. I'll ask you to come up to the podium here, and the request for a porta potty at County Road 50 and signage. Hello.
Hello, Mayor Martin, Council. Thank you for allowing me to come up here and talk to you briefly today. As you know, my name's Fred Bagshaw. I'm the new president. Well, I'd like to new president for the Peterborough Trails ATV Club. And we've come here today to ask because we've noticed we have some nice, lovely porta potties along the parks and that here. And we were wondering if we could possibly get one out at County Road 50. Now, it's a large parking lot that gets used quite a bit. There's people there that, well, for us, for the ATV trails and that there, but there's people there walking their dogs and people going there to ride their bicycles and that, snowmobilers in the wintertime. We also have people that go there for the, park and ride. They'll leave their car for the day kind of thing, right? So the parking lot does get a lot of attention. And we as a club have been taken over and we cut the grass and everything and keep it nice and clean and pick up all the garbage and that. And so we were wondering if we could get the township to put in a porta potty and maintain it for that area. I know our club has grown quite large. I have riders that come now from out the Ottawa area and out as far as Hamilton and Kitchener and that. They'll come for the ride for the day. So they're coming for a ride, and then using the restaurants and everything at the end of the day going home, because usually around supper time, right before they go home and grab something to eat before they get back on the 401s, the long ride home. So something like that would be very handy to have. One of our cleanups there, we had found some unusual stuff on the lawns and that, and this is one of the reasons why we're bringing it up, to put it politely. But we do, that's one of the things that we were asking about. It'd be great if we were able to get one and have the township look after it. Right. The other thing that we had was wondering if the township would be able to put up a no dumping sign. Because it's not, the normal no dumping sign kind of thing. I don't know if there's some might say a fine or whatever. Because we have on occasion have gathered stuff from there. There's been couches, lawnmowers, bags of garbage, just you name it. I mean, you get people that will come there and they'll just dump their garbage out of their car, right? After they've had their lunch or whatever, right? But that's easy enough to clean up. But when you get couches and large objects, tires and all that kind of stuff that gets thrown there, and we throw it in our trucks and clean it up so it's nice and clean again afterwards. I'm just wondering if maybe a sign might help deter some of the people out there from doing that. It is a very nice lot, and I want to thank you for enlarging it, making it a little bigger, because it's well used.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think it's, anything's doable. The porta potty, would that be just for the summer, or are you thinking it should be there year round? What was your idea there? A lot of the ones that we have around our parks, we bring in the spring and we take away in the fall. I imagine anything would help.
Anything would help, yeah. I mean, because the length of, I don't know what time you take them out, like late fall or whatever. I don't know what time you take them out.
Usually it's, come May, we put them out and we pick them up around the end of October, somewhere around there. So,
yeah.
But that being said, we can see how it's.
Yeah, anything would help. And obviously, yeah, anything would help.
All right, then, so staff, I don't know, Peter, if you've looked into this, I think it's something we can refer to staff, but we can see what council's thoughts are here. Anybody got any suggestions or comments around that?
Sure, you know, I'd be kind of on the support that. I'm all for keeping things clean, and I think it's terrible what people leave behind. And you're right, it's a great parking lot, it's a good spot. I've seen lots of people are not just,
Yeah, everybody uses it, yes.
Is there a regular garbage can there also? Just like for regular garbage?
No, there isn't.
Maybe one of those would help as well. Or do you think that would add to the problem if we put a garbage can there?
It might add to it, and then also too, if you're putting something out there, you would have to probably put one of the bear proof ones or something like that out there, right?
Okay, gotcha.
Because of where it is, you'd have a lot of animals getting into a normal kind of style of garbage can.
Okay, our public works director's here, Peter.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. I did do a little
You want to come up here and come on up to the table here and.
Excuse me, it's through you, Mayor Martin, to the members of council. Yes, I did research a local contractor. The price of a portable toilet per month is 125 plus DHST. And the sink station would be an additional 115 plus DHST. So total both would be 240, or the portable toilet would be just 125 plus DHST.
With the signage, I have seen signs in parks that I've been to where, take your garbage with you.
Yeah.
I think if we put it like, signage, I know you can signage things to death, but.
Yeah.
That might be a place to start, is please take your garbage with you and see where that goes. But putting cans there, I think might invite, we find it just. If it doesn't fit in the can, it just goes beside it, and next thing you know, we've got everything there.
Yeah, they'll empty their car right into it. Yeah.
So, any comments from council or questions? Go ahead,
I have
Councilor
one
Flagler.
question. I
Yep.
have one question. The EATO, the Eastern Ontario Trails Association.
Yes.
It's my understanding that Havelock has a contract with them for the County Road 50 to the 6th line. So you're also using, it's a multi-use trail.
Yes, yes.
So you're also using that trail
Yes.
as well? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's, go ahead.
Just not to be the bad guy here, but so we're figuring 6 months, probably around $1,000, right? Is there any possibility that the club could contribute to that, and possibly we could contact the ATV club too, seeing that you're probably the two primary users in terms of maybe sharing the cost on that? Or
I can't speak. I'd have to bring it forward to the club to find out.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm just
and we
saying-
are the ATV users for the area,
Yeah,
right?
but I'm just saying in terms of it, I know you collect fees for the club.
No,
No,
not really, no. We do sell passes for the EOT, for the trails, right? And that money goes to the EOTA. We get, I think it's like $20 per pass.
is there avenues for you guys to reach out for funding? Like, could you go to the EOTA and say, we're looking at, we'd like to have a porta potty here. We've contacted the town. We're looking to split the cost, maybe 50-50 with the town. Is there any way we could get money?
Yeah, there again, it would have to be, I can't honestly say yes or no. It would have to be brought forward to them and see if they would agree to that.
I just want to, I'm for
Yeah,
down there for keeping it clean or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Just in terms of protecting the taxpayer here, right? In terms of,
yeah,
we can't put porta potties in every parking lot that every service organization runs here, kind of. So I'm just kind of looking at it that way, and I know you guys do collect fees and whatnot. So I'm just seeing if possibly, there could be a donation and meet us halfway, or if not, then obviously we'll have to address it as it is, right? But
So it might be something to refer to the EOTA or something, see if there is any help there. But as far as, to get something moving here, there is an opportunity. We should probably be looking at it, but go ahead, Jerry.
Through your chair, Peter, the rental is $125 for the Volkswagen model. Okay. What about the maintenance? I assume it has to be pumped. What do we know? Obviously we don't know, but typically what happens at a park, how many times they get pumped, what's the cost of pumping? And what department is going to be parks or roads that are going to be looking after it, I guess.
Well, through you, Mayor Martin, to Councilor Doherty, I believe that includes the pumping. They come once a week, as my recollection. We can up that if it needs to. That'd be an additional cost, but we could. And I believe the Public Works Department does maintain the parking lot, so I believe it would come through the Public Works Department for the expense.
So that's, I didn't know whether that included pumping or not. So that, okay, thank you.
So anyways, there is an opportunity there to help down there. So I don't know what council thought there. Go ahead.
so yeah, through Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion then that we proceed with the signage in terms of the cleanup and I guess a porta potty. But I would like to, as a part of that, have the Snowmobile Club or the ATV Club, as I said, investigate if there is some possible funding coming from the OTA to offset that cost for the township. So
yeah. As my understanding, you probably, I like most of the porta potties around, they don't have like a wash station. You might have a hand sanitizer inside. That's about it. I don't think you would need a wash station.
So the motion would be that we install a porta potty and look into signage, get some pricing on signage. And we can approach the OTA and see if there's any assistance there with the cost of it. That's what I heard.
that's, yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right, so you're moving that? Okay, do I have a seconder for that? Seconded by Councilor Doherty. Any questions or comments? All in favor? And that's carried.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Okay.
Sorry, just one quick question is, if the EOTA was going, were you thinking on the way of 50-50? Just so I have some idea.
Yeah, we probably got some, that's where we'll start at anyway.
Okay, all right,
Okay.
thank you.
Whitey, you had a comment before you go?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Martin and members of council. We invite any or all of you to one of our meetings. Regular first or the third Tuesday of the month, coincides with your day, but we're 7 o'clock over here at the church.
Okay.
So you're welcome to come anytime and see what we do and what we discuss. And I thank you if we go ahead with that. We'll certainly discuss it on the 20th. What you're proposing.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So our next delegation here is former Mayor Ron Duro and former Deputy Mayor David Giroux. So, come on up to the podium there and, you have some questions around the long-term care, medical center, Peterborough Housing Development, and Havelock Community Center grant. So,
Yeah, good morning, Your Worship, Mayor Martin, Deputy Mayor Webb, and members of council. Thank you for allowing us to come this morning. I'm going to try to keep my comments brief. David was on the agenda before I was, but I was talking to Bob the other day and I asked for permission to come and just share a little bit of my thoughts in terms of what's been happening or what's not been happening with our ongoing pledge to see a nursing home and a medical center here in Havelock-Belmont-Methuen. So I've been trying to keep up with this. I think most of you know this was a legacy of mine in terms of the nursing home and the medical center. And I know a lot of things have happened since I was sitting on that side of the table. And I was thinking this morning on my way out here, just as an anecdotal thing, it's 37 years since I stood on this side of the table. So it's kind of nice to be back here. But anyhow, I understand. I have been speaking with Brad Smith at Aon briefly. I understand that he is in the works, as they call it, with the ministry, trying to sort out the final details in terms of their development agreement, which was at one point 5 years ago, the only thing that was left outstanding with the nursing home was that development agreement, which we all know is something that has to happen before the township would be in a position to sign off deeds of land and so on and so forth. So, and I understand that that's all in the works. And I understand that Brad Smith, I'm not sure, I haven't spoken to him for a couple of weeks now, but he was expecting some documentation from the ministry. I understand that they did receive documentation indicating that the project was approved, the funding part of it, so that hurdle is out of the way, which is great. And now we need to move forward and get this development agreement done. So I just wanted to come today to say thank you to the current council for the work that you're doing on that. It is imperative that we work on this file on a weekly basis. I spoke with Bob last week. I know that from time to time this matter does get discussed. However, Your Worship, I used to work on this file weekly when I was here. And if you don't keep in their face, it soon deteriorates. So I encourage council and staff to work diligently. And again, I offer any help or assistance that I might have to help make that move forward if you should desire that. The other issue, which is most important, is that, you know, at the appropriate time, and I understand, I know how these things work in terms of moving the dial forward, as they say, but there was a lot of work went into the medical center componency of this. And the past council saw fit to dispose of the old center. It's gone. We need a new center. And when I say we need a new center, we need a new center. If we're going to be successful in attracting docs, you know, nurse practitioners and health teams, and to move forward with the original plan. Mayor Martin, you remember, I think, and Deputy Mayor Webb very clearly that it was the position of the community that we wanted to see a health campus there eventually. And there are other communities, Norwood, you know, the hose in the ground, things are happening over there. Camelford, of course, is on a new track with a whole new health center situation over there. We are a greater community when we look at those things, and we all need to be a part of those things. And I encourage this council and I encourage the community here to get involved in what's happening over in Camelford. Camelford has always been and will likely be in the future our first response hospital, and we need to support them. We need to make sure that we're doing our part. And this stuff all costs money. I understand that. And I certainly follow, you know, what's happening municipally, both at the local level and at the county level. I know that you are facing a lot of enduring issues, a lot of things that are very difficult to tangle with and deal with, and they all cost money, and I understand that. But I have to tell you that as, you know, a member of this community, and I speak to many, many people on a weekly basis, this is an issue. It's in the forefront for all of us. Healthcare. And with what's happening with healthcare in general, both at the federal level and the provincial levels, we need to ensure that we're doing our part here. So I can't say it any more clear, Your Worship. I really feel strongly about this. I hope that we can put a fire in the ground where it needs to go, and that we can excite people about this and get on with it. I know that the ministry has indicated their unwavering support, and I hope that that continues both now and into the future. And with that, I'm going to leave it for David. I know he has some other issues that he wants to speak of. Just before I go though, Mayor Martin and Deputy Mayor Webb, I know this isn't on the agenda paper, but Jim, I did speak with you back a while ago about a matter at the county with regards to the county city health unit and the funding envelope there. Now, I've been following that. My understanding is that in this year's budget, there was about $300,000 of an increase on the county side to those programs. A lot of those programs, as I understand it, are provincially mandated programs. It's time to make the province pay their bills. They need to come to the party. So I hope you will put the squeeze on that one. And with that, Your Worship, I will turn it over to David. Thank you.
Okay, so just with regards to, and while David's coming up anyways, with regards to the long-term care, I do work on it weekly. I had a meeting with Dave Smith last week. He assured me everything's on track to build this summer. So on the provincial side, it's totally up to Aon now, you know, that they come forward with their part of it. Last term, it's kind of ironic. We have all of the past council here and our new council here, and all of us have been involved in this thing to try and get it moving. Unfortunately, they pulled the license last year. So we started over again, Ron. We started over again last year with the past council to get this thing moving. We've done everything they've asked, and it looks like it's working. And then a new program came out here this spring that really set some dynamite under the people that the builders. They wanted to get this thing going, and they approached us, and we went back out, did the RFP. I think on Monday, the RFP went out for the build. It just started yesterday. So we're heading in the right direction, hopefully. You're right, we got to keep on it, and we have been. So between this council and the past council, we've done a lot of work on this. And when it comes to the medical center, that will be a part probably of our strategic plan. I know we talked about it at when you were here, and we talked about it last term. That's why we felt comfortable getting rid of the medical center as it was, because of the state it was in. But that will be a priority. But this is our priority right now. Long-term care is our biggest priority. It always has been. There's some light at the end of the tunnel, and we're all hoping that this summer will be, you know, what we've been looking for 15 years.
So I appreciate that very much. And I applaud council for moving on it. I do though implore that medical center was a part of the nursing home. Those plans, we spent money here, the plans, like architects drew the plans up. The ministry at the day approved them. I fully understand there's likely been new things that have happened that they have to go back and look at it. But whatever you do, when that plan gets submitted, make sure that medical center is a componency part of it. And I know Aon offered to work out the finances with the township at the time over a 40-year period, which makes sense because that's the way they costed their building proposals. So there's a great opportunity here, folks, great opportunity. So thank you again.
Well, CAO Angione has been in touch with the ministry. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. It's always great to see former Mayor Giroux and former Deputy Mayor Giroux and former councillors sitting in the ground. It's great to see you fellas. Just to confirm, there is a letter on our agenda today in the correspondence section that confirms that the funding application by Aon has been approved for the 128-bed long-term care home. So that is now officially in writing, and that is great news. Aon has had discussions with the ministry regarding the potential for adding a medical center. That is a secondary phase of the project. And those discussions have taken place and will continue to take place. But the first and foremost priority, of course, is the long-term care home. We have to get that done. There is a deadline to have shovels in the ground by August 31st of this summer. So that's the first priority at this time.
Very good. Okay, David?
Get up.
Good morning, Mayor Martin. Morning. Members of council, pleasure to be here this morning, and thank you, Ron, for your submission. I think we got all the answers we needed. That's the answers we've been hoping to get for several months. CEO said that by August there will be shovels in the ground. That's what we wanted to hear. So thank you for that. I have a few things I shouldn't say hate. I don't like to start out on a negative, but as a stakeholder in our municipality for 60 years, and I don't mean just a taxpayer, I mean a stakeholder. We're all stakeholders here. We want our community to survive and grow, and we want to be part of volunteering and so on. And a part of that is the ability to come to a council meeting or stay home and be part of it, or watch it on YouTube at a later date. And I have been very disappointed to understand the meetings at home. What is being said is very, very garbled, and it's not audible, especially when council speaks over each other. I know this is an ongoing problem. I spoke to Bob about it. I spoke to the CAO, that's what I should say. I spoke to the mayor about it. I've had phone calls into the office. Knowing our office staff, I know for 100% sure that those messages that I have left have got to the proper places. But unless it's changed today, unless it's fixed today, it's very frustrating. You're driving people away from watching the videos or coming online because you can't understand it. So whoever installed it, you got a poor package, or we didn't buy the right one. So we need some answers here. I ask people, do you watch it? And they say, well, I tried to, but I just give up because we can't understand it anymore. I can't understand anything that that area says at all. So
It should be fixed today.
that's what I've heard for years.
No, we found the glitch yesterday. Staff was working on it. We couldn't figure it out, but it was a computer glitch that shut off on the. So, and we're feeling pretty confident. There's some lights on these speakers. As you can see, those white lights were red. So we think we've got it fixed. We have been working on it since everybody talked about it, and we were ready to thinking we had to go somewhere else, but it should work today.
Well, I'll be interested when I get home to see, and I hope it is, and I hope it's fixed, because to me, that will bring a lot more people at their leisure to sit down, watch YouTube and watch the council meetings.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Ron spoke eloquently on the long-term care. I'd like to speak for a moment on the Peterborough Housing Corporation, or whatever it is called now. I'm not 100% sure. Once again, as a stakeholder with the amount of money that's been spent on Smith Drive and this particular property. And I know council before and now probably have talked to them about the 4 quads that are supposed to be built. I guess my question is, do we still own the property, or do they? And why aren't they being built? Quite simply.
So with the turnover from Peterborough Housing to the new corporation that is still in the works, I have talked to Mayor Leal, and I've talked to Councillor Gary Baldwin and Keith Riel, and told them that as their plans move forward, we have a blue pipe sticking out of the ground over there that needs some quads on top of it. We put all the infrastructure in, so there's 8 units there that are easy to do. If you really are serious about housing, those 8 houses could go in anytime, and they need to get on it. So we'll see where it falls out. This corporation that they're working on, you know yourself from county council last term, it wasn't something that the county was in favor of. We had a good relationship with Peterborough Housing. The example on Smith Drive is a great example of working together. They're trying something new here, but I have said to them that don't forget about what's there, because some of the new council there might not realize what's left behind here is we've put the infrastructure in the ground, and the intention was to put 2 quads there, and hopefully that moves forward. So, but I have talked to them as recently as County Day in Queens Park there. Both of them were there, and they put me off to Keith Riel. So that's where I'm at now. So he's on that board.
Thanks for that, Mayor Martin. It would be appreciated by all of us if you could get some kind of an answer from Mr. Riel and report back to at least council. And for those who are going to view it on screen, that we would have an answer. The other thing I'd like to speak to through you, Mr. Mayor, is our Parks and Recreation Department. I believe it's 3 years into a 5-year, $5 million grant that we received for that. And could you give myself and the rest of the municipality an update on that?
So yeah, it's right now where we're at with the this year, all the mechanical is happening. There is an addition to happen over there. That was a part of the last part of the grant, which I think it's 6-year grant is what I remember, but it was towards the end of the grant process, the addition. So in our tax bill, there's a letter coming up actually later here that's going to have a letter going out in our tax bill. There is a survey, what people would like to see that building, what they would like it to be, or what they would like over there, what the interests are. And that's a part of the process as we move forward on the addition to the arena. The roof was suggested to hold off on the roof repairs until we do the addition. If we can, we will. It makes more sense money-wise to do the addition and do the roof at the same time. Whether we can wait that long, I don't know. There is a lot of issues with the roof over there. That's another part of the process. But moving forward, everything there again is on track. I'm not sure how often the things come in, Lionel, but they're pretty regular at sending you updates or wanting updates for that grant.
Each year, twice a year.
Okay.
They require progress reports.
Okay. So yeah, so everything's happening. This year it's mechanical. There's going to be 2 new humidifiers going in. They're going to be more, I don't know, green friendly, I guess. They're electric. They're not going to be gas. And the new plant's going in over there, and it's going to be a lot more efficient too. So that's scheduled for this summer.
Thank you for that, Mr. Mayor. One last item that really wasn't on my agenda. Our president of our local ATV club was here. Now, all through you speak directly to the Councillor Flegler.
Mm-hmm.
You're our representative in the OTA. And part of that job, probably you haven't been told this, but part of that job was to be in contact with the local ATV club so that you could be their voice at council table. Any issues, not issues, but any upcoming events or anything that you could report back, to have a good understanding from the club to you, to council, to EOTA, because EOTA does the best they can, but sometimes they fall off the track too a little bit. Not because they do it on purpose, because they don't know of some issue. So as the president of the club spoke this morning to invite all of council. I know he meant all of council, but they would really like for you to come to a meeting if that's possible and it doesn't interfere with any of your other boards or committees that you sit on. Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, going forward, I will be going to their meetings.
Thanks a lot.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, that's it for me, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for your time. And like Ron said, it's good to be back. Good to hear you here. And I hope it wasn't too negative, but I hope this is fixed.
Yeah, me too. And, you know, thank you for coming. And one of the comments there was around the hospital, how important it is to us. There's a letter in our correspondence today thanking us for that contribution we do every year to them. And we have been working closely with them as far as we sent letters out in support of the new hospital that they're looking for. I was in constant contact with Eric Hanna. Now they have a new CEO over there and we will be working with them too. So I know they're trying to get this thing going sooner than later. And Pacini had said it doesn't affect our long-term care. That's a different thing altogether because that's a redoing an existing long-term care and adding some more beds to it. It's not, this license is for Havelock that we're working on, and we need to get it done. So thanks for coming out and for your questions. So I'll look for a motion to receive. Or do you have any questions for them at all? Go ahead.
It's not a question, just a comment for, first of all, for former Mayor Giroux. Like I said, like to thank you for coming today. I understand your concern. We've had numerous talks when you were on council and since you've been off council about this. As you stated, I know that LTC is a legacy project of yours. None of us would be sitting here today discussing what we are if it wasn't, if you know, you and a few others here, Councillor Pomeroy, Councillor Ellis in the past would have started this for our township. So once again, I'd like to thank you for staying on top of it, for keeping us on top of it. As you said, things can get busy here and sometimes you can take your eye off the ball. But I'm confident that this council has their eye on this ball. It's too big of a project for us to let go. And you're lucky now you're not on council. So if this doesn't go through, we're the ones wearing the rope around our neck. So we understand the importance.
I enjoy every day.
And to Deputy Mayor Giroux, once again, thank you very much for your concern in terms of these topics. I know a number of them you've been involved with. That's probably why you're here, because these are the projects you've started. And as you said, you'd like to see them through to fruition. So thank you for all you've done for our community. Appreciate it. And anytime you have any other good ideas, feel free to come on down and let us know. So thank you to both of you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And Barry and Larry. I'm sure that's through you. Okay, so is there any other questions for the delegation? If not, I'll look for a motion to receive the delegation. Moved by Deputy Mayor Webb, seconded by Councillor Doherty. All in favor? Carried. So I'm going to look for a motion to take a break for 10 minutes here. So moved by Deputy Mayor Webb and seconded by Councillor Doherty. All in favor? That's carried. Look for a motion to resume the meeting. Moved by Councillor Doherty, seconded by Councillor Flagler. All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, our next item here on the agenda is staff reports for information, and we have several here. Is there anything that you had any questions on? If not, I'll look for a motion to receive the reports. Are there any questions on them? Okay, motion to move the we just not.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Through you, Mayor Martin, are we putting through what is gonna go in the tax bills? Is that?
No, we're on the staff reports for information, the fire incident report.
Oh, okay.
So we have an incident reports there from January,
Yep.
February, March, and April.
Mhm.
So the promotion that we received those, the following, is good. Okay, moved by Councillor Clement, seconder. Okay, Councillor Doherty, all in favor? And that's carried. Okay, thank you. Our next items on the agenda are staff reports with follow-up action. So the first item here is Peter.
Good morning, Mayor Martin and members of council. My report this morning is to obtain council's approval to award the tender for the HL2 high performance ultra thin asphalt on Belmont Township third line to Green Brothers Excavating Limited. I'd like to skip down to the last paragraph in the recommendation that the excluded portion of the tender PW 2022-03 for the Belmont Township line be awarded to Green Brothers Excavating Limited in the amount of $226,200, excluding HST. Given that only one qualified submission was received for the tender, PW 2022-03, that Green Brothers Excavating Limited will hold their bid price from 2022 for the work to be completed in 2023.
Good. Okay, so that's a nice thing to see. I was happy to see that anyways. I didn't know where it would go, but Is there any questions around Peter's report? Okay, so what's your thoughts here? The recommendation is there.
Do you remember, that was part of our road trip we did, Peter, on the 3rd? Like, we talked about that,
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin, that's correct, Councilor comment, yeah.
they're holding last year's prices, so. I think that's fair.
Yeah, so this is to finish it off. So all the other work we're doing, it's being done now, and this is to put the top on it, and that's the price of the ultra thin asphalt. So
Through you, remember, one more question, Peter. So if we approve this, how soon can the work be done?
Through you, Mayor Martin, we just recently sent the award letter out to the pulverizing contractor, Miller. So I am in progress of setting dates, but I had spoke to them prior. They were wanting to come in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So we have the hoppers lined up to start next week. So my goal is early July. Would be better before July 1st, the long weekend. That's the goal. But if contractors and can complete, being short notice with this report, but if contractors can complete, it would be done by the Canada Day long weekend.
Wow, that's good.
so there is a recommendation here. I don't know if somebody wants to, did you move that?
So I will move the recommendation that we start on this and get it done.
Do I have a seconder for that?
I ask a question for that. I'm confused as to why it's back. If it was approved in 22, this is 23, it's the same quote. Just a question, that's all, Peter, clarification.
Through you, Mayor Martin, to Councilor Doherty. So we excluded it from the original tender. It was part of the original tender in 2022. We excluded it to award the other parts that we could complete last year. The reason we excluded it is because the duration, the length of this, the third line, because we were way behind with the May long weekend windstorm is what backed us up for months there. So
No, that's fine. Thanks, Peter. It is a second.
Seconded by Councilor Doherty. Any other questions? All in favor? And that's carried. Great then. Next item is Kayla with regards to the township newsletter and tax bill insert. So
good morning, Mayor Martin and members of council. I'm here today to seek approval for the draft newsletter to be placed in the 2023 final tax bill that will go out later this month. Township staff have contributed to the content of the newsletter, and we think we have a lot of useful information for residents, and we're hoping to be able to have it approved to send out.
yeah, it looks good. It's the only thing is, like, I gave you a different phone. I didn't want my real phone number in there, so I gave you a different one, but you put my right phone number, so. Anyways,
Hell, it's even got my name right.
yeah. So anyways, so today it would be a motion to authorize staff to get this into the next newsletter, our news tax bill. Go ahead, Beth.
Mayor Martin, the priorities, they're all the same. So when you say gymnasium, basketball / pickleball court, is that referring to the add-on to the arena?
Yeah, so that through you, Mayor Martin, this is part of the resident feedback for the survey that's placed in the newsletter. So this whole survey isn't actually placed in it. It's a QR code that goes to this. So the question for that one is, I guess, would someone like to see a gymnasium with the potential of a basketball and a pickleball court in it, like included?
Okay, so all the priority number 1 here is all pertaining to the arena add-on.
That's correct.
Should maybe that be said there somewhere?
At the top of the survey, it states that it's for the community senator resident feedback. So for the upgrade. So it's showing what would be your number 1 priority, and then you would select out of those choices, and then your number 2 priority and check in the following.
So it's just for the arena is what I'm saying. So you're not asking the community what they would like to see in Havelock as a whole.
No.
It's just the arena.
Yeah, like at the top of the letter there, it says the Township of Havelock-Belmont-Methuen would like to hear from residents regarding the upgrades to the Havelock Community Center at 39 George Street. And these are their priority 1, priority 2, rank the following ideas based on top 3 priorities. So, yeah, so you would just pick one of those things and then they'll be tallied up and we'll see what kind of direction that the residents would like to see us go. You know, before, and then we can start moving on with the design. Okay. Okay, do you have another follow-up?
Just one more. It was my understanding that we were going to do, how do I put it? That we were gonna ask the residents what they'd like to see in Havelock, not the arena upgrade. That was my understanding of it, but I guess that's.
This is to get us moving with the upgrade.
Yes,
so,
with the arena, I get.
we can always do that later as far as, you know, that's an opportunity. We can do that if you like. That might even be a part of our strategic planning session as far as going out with something like that. But for this right now, this would help us get moving on the design part of what's going to go on the arena. So.
So when it says basketball / pickleball, does that mean one or the other?
Or
Court?
Through you, Mayor Martin. No, I believe like in the end, it could be both. Like it could be a multi-use.
Separate courts?
Could be a multi-use.
Okay.
So anyways, it's, and you're gonna put this online too, like it'll be on our website and that, so if people can't use the QR code, there will be an opportunity for people to see it too.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. Yes, it will be included on the website. We'll have paper copies here at the office. And again, if someone scans this with their QR code, it directs them directly to our website so they can fill out the survey.
Good. All right, technology. So is there any other thing there? This is something that came up at budget time that we make better use of our tax bill. So I think it's a great start and we can, you know, if anything comes of it, we can, you know, always change things for the next bill if something's missing here. My big thing is I'd like to see how many actually look at it and it'd be interesting to hear the feedback that we get from this. So, but it's been a while since we've done it. And I think it's great that we're doing it. So, Councillor Doherty, through you.
When exactly are the tax bills going to be mailed?
They'll go out around the 20th of June.
Okay, good, thank you. And the second part of it is, if I'm allowed to follow here, I was one of the people that would like a newsletter go out. This is great. It contains a lot of information, and it's well done. My big fear is there's just too much on it. Just you know, it's great information. I read it again because I was finding out new stuff all of the time, but it's busy. And that's just, I think it's great. The information's great, but it's busy.
I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, every piece of paper we put out is going to cost us a little bit more, right? And all the information is there. I know what you're saying. It might be look a little bit small. I like it personally because to me, this is going to cottagers. I was at the cottage. This is something gets thrown on the kitchen table or something at the cottage, and you can pick it up and read it 2 or 3 times because it lays there all summer. So it's got all the information on it. So
I'm not disagreeing.
No, I understand what you're saying,
but I think it's busy, but I'm fine. It's the budget and property tax thing is good, other than the fact that the total amount of taxes is what they're going to remind us of. They won't do the math for us, unfortunately, because they're going to dwell on $14,860,170. That's what they're going to zero in on. So I guess that's why over the course of the last few months, I've been wanting to know what our operating costs are, because if we one more line in there maybe next year, but I think if we could put down there what exactly is left over for the amount of actual HVM dollars. I know the percentages are there. I can read. It's 52% of our budget goes out of town. But if they know that we're not getting even $7,430,000, we're getting less than that to pay for the things that have to happen. Anyway, otherwise, it's a great letter. Let's get it moving, and well done. My opinion.
Okay, so I'll look for a motion to, go ahead.
Or through you, Mayor Martin. So we have a few places that we have constituents that do not have access to any kind of social media. They don't pay, they rent, so they don't have a tax bill. So I know it's a very small minority, but I'm gonna be asked about it. I know, and you know who else is gonna ask me. Or my neighbors. Is there any way that, I know you said they can come in and pick it up, but is there, I don't know, I'm a little concerned about the few that we're gonna hear about, but you know what, I'll come in and pick them up and deliver them. That's what I'm talking about.
That's an opportunity. It would be something like it would be nice if the landlords would make sure that their renters get it, whether they do that or not. I know it's asking lots. That there will be a percentage there that might get missed, the same as people. There's always some that are going to get missed, and
Through you, Mr. Mayor, what if we just had staff print up maybe 20 or 30 copies and have them on the front desk at the office there?
there will be some.
Yeah, through you, Mayor Martin. Yes, we'll have additional copies. They always sit on the front counter and they're sent out with new resident packages as well.
Thank you.
Okay, so, yeah, okay, and then the other part of it is with the water bills. Now, the water bills.
In most scenarios, they go to the owner.
Okay, all right, because that's another opportunity, but it with the water bill too, just to make sure that they get it, but go ahead, Councilor Doherty.
Through Mayor, follow-up question. It didn't, a lot of fine print there, but nowhere in there we asked them to comment on our newsletter.
Through you, Mayor Martin, no, there is not a space to comment on the newsletter. And this is just an 8.5 by 11 page. It will be on 8.5 by 14. It was just this side for the.
No, I'm just, it's like, do we want feedback on the letter? There's things we could change. We're asking for it on the rec site. I don't know. It's.
Would there be a spot, just the line even at the bottom, even that, feedback would be appreciated on, how this was received, just simple one-liner?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, how about if we proceed with this first newsletter, seeing that it's done and all ready to go out, and in the next newsletter, we can address such issues. So.
Okay.
I don't know. Just from my point of view, I don't know, putting a questionnaire on our first newsletter.
Yeah.
If they like the newsletter, how much is the first newsletter? So maybe you want to give it
And
a time.
you, Mayor Martin, further to comments from Deputy Mayor Webb, we already have the survey regarding the community center in there, so you wouldn't want to confuse.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay, yeah, for today, if we could get this going, and if there's any comments for the next one, I think, it's great that we're doing it, and for first off, I think it's covered a lot of stuff. So let's see if we can get it going, and if somebody wants to move that we insert this in the next tax bill, that would be great. It'll be out by June 20th. Moved by Deputy Mayor Webb. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Flagler. Any other questions, comments? All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you.
So. All right. Kayla. Our next item on here is with regard to the Legion and VIP.
Through you, Mayor Martin, I believe the first one up is the Royal Canadian Branch 389 Building Enhancement Initiative. For council, you remember, regular council meeting held on February 7th, 2023. Members of council received a letter from RCL Branch 389 dated November 23, 2022, outlining the many challenges experienced for the past few years with the request seeking funding support towards payment of their building's exterior painting and minor repairs. Council passed resolution RO 05223, directing staff to bring RCL Branch 389's request for assistance to a future economic development committee meeting to determine if this request could be covered by the township's community improvement plan facade improvement program. So the purpose of this report is to present for council's consideration an overview of Royal Canadian Legion Branch 389's plan to improve their building's exterior facade, bolster Legion patronage, membership, and positively contribute to the village of Havelock's first impression and prosperity perception. The recommendation is to split 50-50 the RCL Branch 389's exterior building painting and improvement costs between RCL Branch 389 and the Township of Havelock-Belmont-Methuen, which amounts to roughly $3,889, as quoted by Pine Acres Contracting, minus $500 in donated materials. Monies are to be drawn from the Council Initiatives Reserve Fund, or alternatively, $1,000 applied to the Community Grant Program and the remaining $2,889 or so dollars to the Community Improvement.
Well, thank you, Carrie, and I don't know, Art, do you have anything to add to the economic development side of things?
Not really, other than the fact that we're going to run through the CIP, so. No,
So there is a recommendation here. Council got any questions around the report here? Otherwise, I would look for a motion that we move the recommendation or.
Question, what part of the recommendation are we moving? The one that it comes out of council initiative or comes out of CIP?
Well, yeah, okay, so the whether it's the $1,000 applied to the community grant or the how that part of it's done, and then the follow up would be the CIP for the balance of whatever's left over. So so there's two options there with regards to the community grant.
I'll make a motion that we go with the alternative $1,000 be applied to the community program grant and the 28th community improvement. I think that's what it was implemented for, I believe. So
Okay, thank
that way we
you.
recommend.
So moving the alternative seconder. Deputy Mayor Webb. Any questions, comments? All in favor? And that's. Thank you. Right, so the next item here is the CIP with Town and Country.
Okay. Through you, Mayor Martin, council passed the Village of Havelock's community improvement plan in March of 2017. On November 16, 2021, council passed a general resolution to accept the Economic Development Committee's, recommendation to limit the amount of the incentive program funding per applicant to a maximum of $5,000 over 4 years, to ensure funding was to be more evenly distributed among potential applicants. So for the purpose of this report, it's to seek council's approval for the Economic Development Community Improvement Plan Subcommittee's recommendation to provide funding to 10003-14145 Ontario Inc. They operate under the commercial name Town and Country Plaza, located at 14 Mary Street. Our recommendation is that council approves Town and Country Plaza's community improvement plan application to the maximum of the $5,000 limit, which is applied across multiple financial incentive programs developed by the township as part of its community improvement plan, and that the treasurer be authorized to draw $5,000 from the CIP reserve fund to be paid to 10003-14145 Ontario Inc.
All right. Are there any questions for Sherry with regards to this? This is the new place at the end of town. And the CIP, it's something that's been used around the community, and it's been beneficial to help improve facades and things like that. So, we've got a couple coming out looking for help. Go ahead.
So Terry, this is a one-time 5,000, but it's going to be split 3 ways. They're using it 3 different areas.
Through you, Mayor Martin, Councillor Clement, the community improvement plan represents 9 microgrants. And depending on the business's situation, whether it's a tenant, whether it's a landlord, they may be eligible for all 9 or a number of those. And if they meet the criteria, they have all of the receipts and whatnot, they would only be awarded up to a $5,000 limit. So for this one, this particular business, we're eligible under 3 microgrants. So they reach the max for one, and because the other is it's 100% reimbursement for planning and building permit. They got that, as well as up to a threshold on the third. So they didn't fully utilize the third one, just to the portion where they reached that ceiling of $5,000.
Okay, so we're adding up 2,500, 950 and 1,540.
That's right.
Okay, that's under this 5,000 one time.
That's correct.
Okay,
And they can come back in 4 years and apply again if they were doing more enhancements. They'd be eligible.
but this is it for 4 years.
Correct.
Okay, fair enough.
So any other questions?
So sorry, through you, Chair, for the slow ones. So the overall grant for the facade, the municipal fee grant, is 5,000 or it's 5,000 plus? I'm a little confused with the answer there. That's, maybe it's not me here. Maybe it's me that's not.
Through you, Mayor Martin, it's $5,000 that they are maxed to, awarded across the 3 micro grants.
Okay, so it's broken down. Okay, so the total dollars is 5. That's how they're using it in the other 3. Now, if I may, a follow up on the commercial space conversion grant, there's a $10,000 loan. What portion did they only use $1,540 of that?
Through you, Mayor Martin, Councillor, there is an element to that particular micro grant where a one-time grant of 50% up to $2,500, but they could have, in addition to that, they could be eligible for a $10,000 loan. However, in their application, they did not apply for the loan. They were simply applying under that 50% of total expenses up to the 2,500 level. And because they have already tapped into the other 2 micro grants, the facade improvement and the municipal fees grant program, which is a reimbursement of their planning and building permit costs, they were only eligible for $1,540. They didn't have, because they've hit their 5,000 ceiling.
So do we have a loan component?
This particular grant includes a loan component if they choose to apply for that. They chose not to apply for any loan component under this micro grant.
Okay, got 3 years, just for Councilor Doherty. I think the total is $49.92. They didn't use the full 5.
Yeah, no, I would
$10.
There's just a lot of moving parts there.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Confusing, but thank you, Sherry.
Thank you.
So this is,
There's no loan.
No.
so it's new to, like, a lot of these things are, like I say, I've seen a couple take advantage of this over the years and it's been really good for them. And hopefully this helps these businesses move forward with what their goals are. So I look for a motion that we move the recommendation. Okay, moved by Councilor Clement. I have a seconder for that. Second by Councilor Doherty. All in favor? And that carries. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
So the next item on here is Indioni with regard to the community grant program that we approved in the budget.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. This report presents the community grant program and all the provisions. As previously discussed by council, we have added provisions in there for in-kind donations, rent-free donations, and the like.
So one of the things that I heard with regards to one of the other grants, it was the environment group last year. And I think it said it in it, but maybe we don't highlight it enough. It's the grant pay up to. So one of the things I have heard with the environment grant is it's hard to spend it all. So I don't think they realize that, they don't have to get the whole thing. It's help up to. So I don't know, that's something if anybody phones about any of these grants, this one says that up to, which, is, I think that's something that we need to clarify with people that they may only need $750 or whatever. So, but, I think here again, it's a good start. We asked for this in the budget and we do have to get some policies around all of the grants, and this is the first one that Indioni and staff have put something out of it. So, are there any comments or questions around it? Go ahead,
Your Chair. The one in there where it says the event the OMPF funding is discontinued by the province, it would discontinue the grant. What happens if it's decreased? Not for you, are we gonna keep it at 10?
Through you, Mayor Martin, that would be a council decision. That there's no provision for that in this particular grant program, but.
Yeah, they are be here.
Sure, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
But at any time, council could amend the policy, should the funding change. We can certainly do that.
So the recommendation here is that, let me get back to it. Council direction is required, so if you're okay with, what's in here, we can move this forward, and anything like this is, if there's something that comes up later that you think needs amended, we can always do that, because things do come up once in a while, so, but this would get it moving, for this year, so. But you want to move it? Council Clement's moving this community grant as written. So I second her. Agreed.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So we did discuss this in budget items. We were agreed upon 10,000, right? We agreed it was the budget. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
It was part of the $80,000
Yeah.
motion, and then went through a different grant. I think.
Okay.
I'm done, Jerry.
What, I know we discussed this, and I know we wanted in the in-kind donations. That is so that we can assess and add value to our real dollars. Okay, good, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a mover. Seconded by Councilor Doherty. All in favor? No, there's part thought on that. Sorry. I'm still back a little from both of us. I'm catching up, okay? So, all right then. Thank you. So with that, correspondence for action item, we don't have anything listed. Correspondence for information. Calvert Hospital for the thank you out.
All right, through you, Mayor Martin, there is one correspondence action request on the amended agenda from the Havelock-Belmont-Methuen District Chamber of Commerce, a request regarding internet service at the kiosk.
Yeah. So when was that added then? Okay, so and the numbers are 329.
How much is it?
329.40.
Yeah, for 2020.
Yeah, this is a matter that's come up through, come up, excuse me, through AcDev, I think last summer, in dealing with the chamber a couple times. So I guess obviously they've sorry. I guess obviously they bypassed AcDev now and come straight to council because the letters from us. So as I said, I know they've I believe, Mr. Mayor, you're familiar, had internet issues there with whether it's the line of sight or whatever. So they've been trying to bounce off the tower here at our office and whatnot. So I'm hoping that whatever this is a solution. I believe it is, because I know they've had one of the local contractors out there looking at it to troubleshoot it to see if this would actually solve the problem. So I believe we're being told this will. So I'll pass it over to Sherry. She no more than I. So
Through Mayor Martin, Deputy Mayor Webb, you're absolutely right. In the past, in fact, I think it dates back 3 or 4 years. Each year, the chamber would come forward and saying, is there a way that we could tap into the municipal offices Wi-Fi or things like that? Because the tourism objective was to provide free Wi-Fi for the farmers market, but also for visitors along the Lions Parkway, including the actual visitor center through the months, you know, our tourism season, which is typically May through to Thanksgiving. However, as part of the tourism grant that the chamber applied for some time ago, there was funding as a part of that would pay for the installation of proper internet through the visitor kiosk. So that all of that has been that work has been done. This is strictly for the Wi-Fi usage alone. So there was roughly $2,800, I believe, that the chamber invested in setting up Wi-Fi, as well as a repeater that goes on the electronic side that is directing towards the farmers market. This application is through the community grant program because it was included in the budget information through our public information. So they've applied through that program to cover the costs. To Mayor Martin's comment, they didn't apply for the full 1,000. They simply applied for what they felt they needed to cover the costs for the 6-month package. Rural Links will provide them.
Okay. All right, then, is there any questions for Sherry with regards to that? So it would come from the community grant, is that?
That is my understanding.
That's
Mayor Martin.
329, that's our portion, 329.40 out of the community grant. And,
That's correct.
okay. Great. Well, it does, is it on right now? Like I see a lot of cars sitting there. Is there internet there? Is that what they're?
Through you, Mayor Martin, Ray McCutcheon was our primary contact for the setup of the technology. So between Clear Line of Sight as well as Relinks, it has been functional for 2 weeks. The password component was not part of the original plan because it should be open and free to the farmers, to the exhibitors, to the visitors. So that has to be adjusted. So if you're fortunate enough to have the password, yes, you can access it right now, but I know that their plan is to make that adjustment so that people can tap into it as a free source of internet service, much like Tim Hortons.
Yeah. Okay. All right, then. Go ahead.
Was this not the deputy mayor mentioned not approved last year to the internet to be hooked up over there?
I don't remember approving it. I know we discussed it a few times and, hey.
Through you, Mayor Martin, it was discussed many times. However, the chamber was lucky enough to tap into the gas bar, the Havelock gas bar, and use their Wi-Fi last summer. However, it wasn't as effective.
Johnny's on it too.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's council's thoughts? Somebody want to move the motion here? That's
Sorry, but sorry through you, Mr. So the 329 is for open, unrestricted internet for the kiosk for the 6-month period or May to
Farmers market.
farmers market as well.
okay. Moved by Councillor Doherty that we move this this recommendation here, and seconded by Deputy Mayor Webb. All right, any other questions? Go ahead.
Through you, Mayor Martin. Sherry, download, is there going to be download charges? Like, because you said that the internet is open, so somebody could pull over, download a movie, watch a movie, and I know downloads when you're getting the extra.
So through you, Mayor Martin. Mayor Flaker, you're absolutely right. That can be a challenge because it would be those that will try to take advantage of it. So they've set parameters. I believe that from 10 a.m. in the morning, I think it's 8 p.m. at night. Visitors can use that, whether you're an exhibitor within the farmer market and you'll be able to pay, automated in an automated fashion, or if you're a visitor and you're simply resting alongside the road, you'll be able to tap into it. And yes, they could possibly stream. But the program will accommodate that, and they have set those parameters so that if you are a trucker who is pulling over, he won't be able to, or she won't be able to stream after 8 p.m. and through the night. So they've got some controls in place, but they've left it open-ended for the benefit of our visitors.
Okay, so will there be extra charges then?
No, through you, Mayor Martin, the program is a flat fee for the 6-month period.
So it's unlimited.
It is part of the program. There will be no further requests for funding for Wi-Fi services.
Okay. So Councillor Doherty, did you move? Did anybody move it yet?
Moved by Councillor Doherty, seconded by Deputy Mayor Webb.
Okay. All in favor of the motion? And that's carried. Thank you. Thanks. I have to start reading my amended agenda. Anyways, the Next items here were for information of correspondence, but there's some good things on there. The Ministry of Long-Term Care and the funding approval for the long-term care is on there. The application for Canada Day is on here that we were approved. And then the hospital thanked us for their donation. So if there's no questions around those things.
Mr. Mayor, I do have a question on the long-term care, something you said earlier, the RFP has been issued for the contract
For the
nursing home.
Yeah, through you, Mayor Martin, I can confirm that the request for proposals for the construction of the long-term care home was issued yesterday. And is now live.
So you're getting, Martin, so the license and operation bids and all the paperwork that. I don't remember seeing any plans yet. I thought we were going to have a look at those.
There's some have come in, but not everything yet. So as it comes in, we will be proud to proceed.
Not that I would add any value, but I thought we were going to have a look at that. And then I thought, the way this reads, this is May the 12th. So I'm happy that we're moving ahead and they're doing something. So is that the last hurdle then?
Through you, Mayor Martin, no, that's not the last hurdle. The last hurdle, this is confirming the funding. Aon was approved for the funding for the 120 long-term care beds for Havelock. The last hurdle is the development agreement that Aon is still continuing to work with departments, and they're heading in that direction, but that is not signed yet.
And that's, sorry, through you, and that's up to us to follow up, or is that Aon's to follow up with the ministry and us to follow up with Aon?
Yeah, through you, Mayor Martin, that is Aon and the ministry. That's their discussions. It's not for us to follow up on.
Well, like, believe it or not, August is not that far away.
Yeah, they are very aware of that.
Yeah, so in my discussion last week with Dave Smith, he said everything is on track for summer build. So I asked about the development agreement, so he's aware of it. It's not for us to, that's between Aon and the government, but we can do our part. Like I say, I spoke to them and I was assured that everything is moving for summer build. So that's all I can. So motion to receive the balance of the correspondence.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I just ask one question. So the one going on forward to the Canadian Heritage for the Canada Day, is some of this given to the Lions? Because don't they run a good portion of the Canada Day? Or what do we use this for our Canada Day?
Hey, a lot of it's for fireworks and things.
Oh,
but,
perfect. No, that's fine.
but they give us some flags and things like that. Because I know in the past we have gave Cordova some of the flags and things for their Canada Day thing. But yeah, it's like a package that comes out. And,
That's good.
majority of it goes towards fireworks.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Did you have something there? Deputy Mayor Webb? Or motion to receive the balance? Moved by Deputy Mayor Webb that we receive the balance of the correspondence. Seconded by Councillor Hammond. All in favor? And that's carried. All right then. So we don't have any written notice of motion. Is there any oral notice of motion for today? Seeing any? Oh, I jumped over council activity report. So do you have anything, Art, from county?
I'll give a quick update that I county meeting, May 17th. We had staff long service recognition awards. A few staff members recognized there for long periods of service. We had an EORN update from EORN on their annual update, I guess. So also two presentations from Ron Keaton from PCAD in terms of how businesses are doing in the county, which seem to be bouncing back quite nicely after COVID, according to her presentation. And so one thing, county's buying 5 new ambulances. So that's new. And oh, they were just asking for comments on the provincial planning statement, which I think kind of fits into today, because I don't know if it was over the weekend, I guess they amended their, a lot of the things in it, so. I think that was good as what we were looking for in the county. They amended, building on farmland, basically. Before they'd open it up to allow kind of severances or whatnot, building on what they deemed, I don't really deem it high quality farmland, but. They've since changed the policy over the weekend, so I know that's gonna make the county happy and probably trickle down to areas like ours as well, so. That's there was more there. It was a long meeting, but that's kind of a full notes version. Any questions? The mayor would be happy to answer them for me.
Well, you learn fast. So, yeah.
I do have a question not pertaining to your update. It's more of a generic question as to why, maybe it's unfair, but why did the county elect to reduce the tax rate on multi-residential properties? What was the rationale behind that? I don't, but part one of the question, the other part, what is considered multi-residential? Is that more than one? 24 plex?
There is a number that goes with that. I don't have it today with me. So,
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm happy.
that final.
Through you shares more than 6 units.
More than 6? Oh, and there's no requirements, or through the chair, there's no requirement on the reduction that it has to be new. It's, you can have it existing as well. It's everybody that.
Yes. There's a new multi-residential class, but it's got the same tax rate.
So, okay, so back to my question. Why are we doing that? Other than the obvious, we want to create more rental units, but that would be flawed in my opinion.
Would say your question again?
Okay, we're reducing the multi-residential taxes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a 24 plex in and it's rented up, it's going great. Now I'm going to get my taxes reduced. How is that improving the rental market in Peterborough County?
Oh, it's a fair question. I don't know.
Because I was making money before, I'm going to make more money now.
Yeah, well, I guess from a business point of view, you would say that the person that's renting them, right, is the actual person, the investor. So he's the one that went out, bought the properties and got this rental. So if you reduce his costs, possibly, maybe he goes and opens 24 more, right? If he has more discretionary income to go and invest.
Then I think we should be rewarding the new multi-residential properties as opposed to grandfathering everybody, because if I was making money before, I'm just going to make more money now. And that's fine. I think I understood why it's because of the shortage of rentals, but I don't understand how this gets us to the goal. That's all. It's just a question, and maybe it's something we could.
I think rather than us trying to answer it today, I think we should get an answer.
Just any time would be.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lionel, do you want to
If you could share, that is a fair point. And one thing that it's a separate program, but when a multi-res owner's property tax goes down by more than 2.5%, there's something called a rent reduction program that they have to pass that tax reduction onto their tenants. So just we just started to do that last year when the first ratio reduction happened. And so every year that's going to affect, well, we don't have a whole lot here, but it will keep affecting those properties every year until that ratio hits the 1, which would be the same as residential. So if a multi-res owner is following this legislation, we have to send out notices to their tenants, then they're having to give back some of those savings.
We keep him right.
Okay, sorry, through your chair. I go back to my same point. How does that help the rental market?
And so we should get it's a good question, and I think we should get the proper answer rather than us trying.
Well, quickly too, it would at least somewhat freeze rents, wouldn't it, Lionel? Not freeze them, but I mean, it would hold them down to a certain extent. If every time the landlord gets it, he has to pass it on to the renters, right?
Yeah, through you share, it does actually put downward pressure, but No, I think get what Councillor Doherty's saying for sure. And the unfortunate part is through legislation, the county sets those ratios. And for better or worse, we don't have input to those ratios.
Sorry, excuse me.
So moving
Yeah,
forward.
Yeah, we did. We have two representatives go here every month to the county, and I believe our newsletter says we cough in 34% of our tax revenue to the county. So we darn well do have some say in the county.
So one of the problems we're having here is for the production of this online meeting. One of the complaints I get when staff talks in the crowd, they can't see who's talking, they can hear a voice. So that's something that if we're going to get into the discussion, we'll have to ask staff to come up to the table in the future. But for today, I think the best thing is to receive this. And as far as the question, I'll get you a proper answer because it's a fair question. We should be able to answer it maybe, but I wasn't really prepared for it today.
No, this question, yeah, I'm sorry, not to put anybody on the spot. I was just curious when I went through it's the logic. And I'm okay with that, but I just think it's something that I'd like to find.
Just to Councillor Doherty's point, if you're going to try and read any public municipal budget and find logic in it, then good luck to you. So,
I haven't started to drink the Kool-Aid yet.
So, okay, so we'll carry on here. So, but we will get an answer for it.
Thanks, fair question. There's no urgency to it. It's already happening. It's like.
Okay, so we're going to move into the activity reports. And one thing before we get into them, looking at Councillor Clement's report here, I did ask Bob yesterday. So before we were on a salary, doing it by salary, we always listed all our meetings every month. And there was a form around, and I don't know if it's still around, but I think for future, for the second meeting of the month, I would really like to see us, I know I'm going to get a form going. We have one similar at the county for some things. I would like to list, like a list like this. I know most of us were at the same meetings. So some of us put it in, some of us don't. But I think for future, we should look at a standard form that we fill out every month. And if you do it for the second meeting of the month, it gives you a bit of time to get ready because some of the first meetings are on the first of the month and it's tricky to get it ready. So I think moving forward, I'd like to look into getting a standard form that we fill out every month to show what we've attended. For Councillor Webb and myself, a lot of it would be county stuff. Looking at my calendar, it's got something every day. But it's good for the public too, to see what you're attending and what's involved in the job. So I do know when we were doing paid per meeting, we had to do that every month and it was a good thing for people to see. So moving forward, I have asked staff to see if they can find that old form and maybe it could be modified and we could start trying to implement it into our schedule here. So we can, because we are busy, we all know that, but nobody else knows that. And that's a good way of showing. So thank you, Kathy, for this. Like I say, most of us can look at there and say I was there too or whatever. But we didn't put it in. So it'd be good if we had a standard form. If you don't put it in, that's up to you. But I will be in the future for the second meeting of the month. So, but you attended several meetings here and events. And is there any minute? There is some minutes there from the meeting.
Yes. So just to cover it quickly here, so this is the second half of April because I had already submitted the first half before. So Jerry and Councillor Doherty and Mayor were with me at the summit. It was good. I quite enjoyed it. It was very good. The community policing and the library, it was just before Celebrate Havelock. Most of that was based around Celebrate Havelock, what they were going to do. Community care, they had a spring fling. It was a lot of fun. The ladies all dressed up. And the library book sale, it wasn't as productive as we had hoped. It was the first one they'd had since before COVID. So going forward, they know they need to advertise a bit more. We had a rainy day, so it was sort of a sad day for them. But yeah, it's good. It's and like you say, the public do want to know. They like seeing us out there. They want to know what we're doing. So that's why I submitted it. So
thank you. So we have minutes there from the community policing April 12th meeting. So somebody would like to move that we receive those.
Sorry, we have another one coming up next Wednesday.
Yeah.
This is sort of old stuff. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll move that, Jim.
Okay, moved by Deputy Mayor Webb that we receive the minutes from the community policing April 12th. Seconder? Somebody,
Kelly?
yeah, Councillor Doherty seconding it. All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, and the next item on here is Deputy Mayor Webb with regards to the fishing derby. How many is this you've been a part of? Art?
How many is it, Sherry? 6.
Six. So, yeah, it was a great day. Lots of kids out there. I seen one big fish. Yeah. It was
Walter.
Well, yeah, I think, first of all, I'd like to thank all members of council for showing up. Very nice day, very nice weather. Our economic development officer was running the show out there along with the fire department. I'd like to thank Ray and all the volunteers who did a super job as usual on the barbecue. Kept everybody well fed and happy. Sherry, I don't know if you want to take, she added a few new items, a scavenger hunt and a few things. So maybe if you want to just take everybody through the day.
Through you, Mayor Martin. When we were planning the event, we hoped to have 50 to 60 children, and our approach to it was everyone gets a prize. Nothing based on size, because there were only 300 6 to 8 inch trout. So you don't realize how small that is until it's in the end of the line, and and a 12-year-old's hands. But there were 6 prize fish. They were all Walter, and one of the 6 was caught. So you can bet that the older kids will be back to fish them out. We had 102 registered, but we missed at least 10 to 12 because they kind of go around the picnic area. So around 115. And based on our records, that would have been the highest attendance so far. So that's 115 kids with mums and dads, grandparents. And we had a beautiful day. We introduced treasure hunts to keep the little guys busy, just because around 20 minutes of casting and not catching was a little tedious, but I think we can build on that next year. And we did have someone come forward and suggest that we have a donation box for it. People were willing to pay to donate towards the event next year. I would suggest that we focus on a charity. I did mention the fire department was raising funds. So maybe that becomes our focus next year too, but that would be something we could build on again.
Okay. Go ahead.
So just quickly through, Mr. Mayor, I mentioned staff, Sherry, Ray, fire department. Thank you for all your work. Also, we had certain members of our community donate. There was Kawartha Stoneworks, Jason Derry, and what's his wife's name?
Jen and
Jason and
Mayor
Jen.
Martin. Yes, so Jason and Jen Derry were our premier sponsor. They sponsored most of the Tim Hortons cards. We also were fortunate to have the Subway, our local Subway. So Billy Patel sponsored as well. Subway cards. We had James Bell of the Home Hardware sponsored cards as well. So everyone got something. And we had small prizes for the toddlers that were present. And over and above that, we were lucky enough, the Lions Club volunteered and we had a guest appearance of Paw Patrol. Which is always fantastic for the little ones. They always appreciate that, as well as first Havelock scouting. We were lucky enough to have 2 scout leaders, Lauren Benjamin and exactly Abby. Yes, were there on hand to help us manage the registration. So
that's all I go for is the Paw Patrol because they're in everything. Yeah, that's my goal. So anyways, it was a great day. And if there's any, comments out in the public, which there always is, hopefully they're good things and we can get better as we go. So Jerry, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Martin, it was my first time. I thought it was great. I thought the grounds were well, the volunteer staff, like it was just an unbelievable day, and to see that many kids, and the park was really nice. So I think it's a community effort. Certainly the staff worked hard to get it there. So I just like to thank Hart. And
I'd like to thank, just quickly through Mr. Mayor, I'd like to thank all the council coming, like especially with this new council. There's a real
Can't use new anything.
Oh, yeah, okay. Switch over, but anyways, it's nice to see everybody there. I know we all are busy and not everybody can be there all the time. But at the few events that we have had, I've noticed that all of, if not most of this council's there, which is really nice. And I think it resonates out in the community when they see us at these events. So thank you to all council.
Okay. All right then. So motion to receive these reports. Moved by Councillor Clement, seconder. Seconder. Deputy Mayor Webb, all in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. So I already did the written oral notice motion, so other business, there is none. Bylaws, none. But we do have a closed session, so I would look for a motion that we go into closed session. After closed session held under section 239(2) of the Municipal Act. And 325 for personal matters. Moved by Deputy Mayor Webb and seconded by Councillor Clement. All in favor? Or sorry, I'm looking at, yeah, have it. Anyways, and then the, so then I'll look for a motion. You want it? Do you have to go for, you want to take a break?
Well, I don't have to.
No. How long is this? Okay, so we're back. Is there any motions? And open? All right, then. So the next item on the list is confirming bylaws. Motion for the confirming bylaw. Councillor Clement, seconder. Oh, sure. Councillor Doherty, all in favor? Carries, motion to adjourn this meeting. Sure. Deputy Mayor Webb and Councillor Doherty, all in favor, and then